gents, welcome back to the channel. Moza here, and today is the first day of a brand new season of Photo Finish Live. Season 17. The first day of a new season is also a very special day for another reason. It's FOALS Day. Let's get right to it. So, as always, if you are enjoying the content that you're watching on this channel, do me a favour, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Liking the video helps more people to see it, as does leaving a comment down below. So let me know if there's any thoughts you've got that you'd like me to look at, any ideas, any things that I should be doing that I haven't picked up yet. They're all very, very gratefully received. But with all that said and done, what we are here to do today is look at my first ever full intake and photo finish. I have 4 foals that have came through, 2 of which I chose a breed myself, 2 of which I bought pregnant horses, so I didn't get to choose the breed. I'll show you what the initial kind of picture looked like between the two, the sire and the dam, what eventually came out, and my now future approach towards what I'm going to do for the next season and beyond. If you do have any thoughts on what I'm saying, again, feel free to get involved in the comments below, but this will give you an idea of my theory and where it came from, and hopefully give you some ideas of what you might like to do with your particular stable going forward. So let's get started with a breed that I chose. I'll show you the first 2 were of my doing, and the next 2 were pregnant horses that had already been set up. So we'll start with Violet P, who was a mare that I bought on the marketplace because it's a good start, decent speed, decent finish. There's a decent mix of attributes on Violet P, but what I really liked is the fact that heart and temper were both really good there as well. I have picked up 2 studs that I'll show you shortly. Their temper's not great for both of them, everything else is fine. So ideally for my mares, I need them to have decent temper, if not good temper, compared to their other attributes. Violet P meets that. So this is what I set up when I got Violet P with one of my in-house studs, Juices Loose. He is an out and out sprinter. So basically his start is phenomenal, SS minus, his speed is S plus. Those are his 2 best attributes, and in my mind those are the 2 most important attributes for sprinters. You'll see with Violet P, start is the equal strongest attribute. Speed was a little bit down, A+, but as an A+ horse it's still on the level. I think that should improve, and I think start should improve as well. At least I did at the time, so that was the theory behind setting this up. And also you'll notice that stamina is low and will likely stay low when you look at the values, as will finish. Stamina I am not worried about for a sprinter. It can be as low as it needs to be. It doesn't really impact sprint races 4, 5, 6 furlongs. If I'm creating a horse for that kind of race, I will happily take lower stamina in return for better speed, better start, decent finish and decent heart and temper. The other attributes other than start and speed, I want to try and keep on the same level as the grade of the horse. So it's going to be at least average compared to the other horses it will be racing against. Stamina can drop below because it's a sprinter, it doesn't need it. So those 2 got together, an A+ mare and an S sire, and they've gone right in the middle with their foal, an S- foal, which is basically what I was expecting. Something else you'll notice is the preferences, because a big aspect of horse breeding in Photo Finish Live is you want to get the highest number of stars possible on direction and highest possible number of stars on the surface. The third one is not as big of a deal because it's variable, but if you're running a horse as I do on left dirt, they're always running left and they're always running on dirt. You need to have the highest possible star ratings there, and it worked out for this foal. I was delighted when I got this one through. 1 star firm means generally it might not be as good as other horses in fast conditions if they've got the full 3 star firm rating, but when it comes to yielding conditions or good conditions, what I'm hoping this one can thrive. So that's the theory behind the first one. And then that leads us nicely into the second foal that I produced of my own doing, and let's get into it. So this one was slightly different. I own Mighty Athena. At this time I hadn't bought my 2 in-house studs, so I was looking around all the horses available on the breeding marketplace. When you go on to the breeding marketplace, you'll notice people offer out their studs for a minimum of 4,000 Derby. There's also an 800 fee on top of that that goes to the rake, essentially, to photo finish. So this breed here with just $1 cost me 4,800 in total. When I breed with my in-house horses, I still pay that 4,800 Derby, but I get 4,000 back as a fee for my horse being the stud. So in-house studding saves you quite a bit of Derby. It doesn't necessarily guarantee success though, you need to have the right horses to do it with. So we can cover that at some point as we go. But for this one, the reason I picked just $1 for this was not just because of inbreeding concerns. There were 1 or 2 others that may have been a better match, but the horse would have become inbred. You need to check when you're looking on these breeding reports. Underneath this section, it will show you sires, grandparents and great grandparents. If there are any matches, you will have an inbred foal and it will have a penalty. As we know, inbreeding doesn't really work, let's be honest. We'll move on swiftly. So you want to avoid that at all costs. So I got Mighty Athena paired up with just $1. As you can see here, both start and speed again are the real strong attributes in both of these horses. Also a really good heart. Temper just down at the same level as grade, but that should cancel out with just $1 having a better temper than its grade, but bang on heart. So the idea being the 2 of them, if the averages work out, would be on the grade, if not around about that level. Start and speed should hopefully remain higher than what the grade is, and you notice stamina and finish are much below on Mighty Athena. They're 1 step below, I should say, the grade. It is exactly the same with just $1. So both horses matched up really nicely for what I was looking for, and they got together and produced a foal, and this is what came out at the other side. So I got an A+ foal from those 2, which I'm delighted about, because the way the grading works with these horses, I had an A grade dam with an S grade sire. It could have been anywhere in between there. You could have had it as an A+, an S-, an S, or if you get really lucky, you can get a little bit higher. Really unlucky, you can go down. I was hoping to get an A+, because the secret to breeding, when you listen to people that know what they're doing, is slow build. If you have a horse that just makes S- from that kind of match, they'll likely not be good enough to compete with other S- horses because they've just made it. It's much better to have a strong A+ than a weak S-, in my opinion. That is what I got here, and I am pretty full of hope for this one. It's set up to be a sprinter. It is a colt, so it will just be a pure runner. It may be a horse that I can use as a stud in future as well, depending on what the attributes are on retirement. But the main focus for me for this one was to produce another sprinter, and all being well, will have one. We'll need to wait until they're on the track, as with all foals, to find out if it's been successful or not. Just to very briefly touch on the other 2 foals that came along from the previous pregnant mares I bought. These were the setups from the previous owners. So you had Gil El Ruby, which I got initially because it was a bit more of a balanced horse. It had speed and stamina as well as heart. I might sell it, to be honest. It doesn't really fit what I've ended up doing. It was a decent purchase at the time, but I'm considering my options. It would be a decent kind of base horse to use if I wanted to go for a more mid to distance runner rather than a sprinter to mid. I will see what my options are, but I'm very much geared towards sprinter and mid distance, so it may be lost in the shuffle. We'll wait and see. As for the other breed, you had Zorach, who I bought as a foal, was getting matched with Whiskey River. Again, not really what I would have done in my personal preference, but you can see why I picked up Zorach. A better horse than its grade, A grades all the way down apart from speed and stamina, which means I could go either way in terms of a sprinter or a medium to long distance runner. Obviously with the focus now being on the sprint to the medium distances, I'll be able to bring those grades up with the stud horses I have. In this instance, it was paired up with Whiskey River, Whiskey River being more of a speed based horse. You can see stamina is an A+, so there shouldn't be too much difference really there. Again, with this kind of combination of the two, Whiskey River's an S-, but not an over and above brilliant S-. There's a couple of A+ grades. I would have been hoping for an A+ horse out of this match, and that is what I got. So I don't really know how this one will go, in all honesty. We'll give it a go on the track. It is a filly, so I can use it for breeding in future regardless of what happens depending on the attribute reveals, but it gives us a bit of flexibility and it's not a bad starting point. So now that we've covered everything that's happened with the foals I have brought through, let's get into the plans for next season as they stand. These are all subject to change. So my first one that I will bring up is a mare that I bought too late for breeding last season in Nautical Moon. You'll see why I bought her right here, because she is a sprinter. She's an A+ mare. Her S- start and S- speed are perfect for what I am focusing on. I probably will match her with Juice, just as you can see, like we're trying to make those two attributes the best they possibly can be and bring the other attributes together along with them. Not too worried about stamina. Again, Nautical Moon has one lower step for stamina, an A. Everything else is on grade at A+. With Juice, temper is an issue at A+. Other than that, everything else should come through, hopefully with a little uptick. We may need a little bit of luck to get the finish up to an S-, but the plan is to match these two together and get an S- horse that can go and sprint its way to victory on the track. Mighty Athena is very similar. Again, we'll be matching up with Juice. Start and speed above grade. The difference with Mighty Athena is stamina and finish are both a step down in grade. Temper is bang on A, so I'm hoping that'll roll into an A+ horse for a foal with an A+ temper. Even if it comes through as A, it's not that big a deal. The main things are the start and the speed, are the strengths there. There's nothing else I'm too worried about. The finish I would prefer to be on A rather than A- for the mare, given that Juice has an S- finish, which is again below his grade, one step down. We can afford to give that a gamble though when it's a sprinting horse. Finish is much more important for the mid to late distance horses, and we're looking at a 4-5 at maximum 6 furlong foal coming out of this one. The last one that I'll match up with Juice most likely will be Violet P. We've done it before, so now we have an expectation of what we can look forward to if things play out the same way. We'd be looking to find an S- foal out of Violet P, who is going to be brilliant at starting out the gate, have good speed, not outstanding speed but good speed. So this one will be more focused on a 4 furlong or 5 furlong runner if the averages work out. It doesn't always, so you only ever find out when these foals hit the track. Other than that, stamina is a step down, everything else is where it needs to be. The advantage of Violet P is heart and temper are higher than the grade, a step up. So I'm not as worried about the temper being stepped down with Juice. 2 steps down in fact with Juice. I can afford that gamble there because I am counteracting one of the 2 steps down with Violet P. So that leaves 2 more mares and a first glimpse of my second in-house stud, Scott Star Eclipse. Scott Star, you'll notice, is still very similar to Juice in that the strength is a start, however it's much more balanced is a horse for middle distances. So horses that come through ScotStar, who is a Grade 1 winner in his past, I was able to get for about 10,000 Derby, just cost 15,000 Derby through a claimer, and then I had to get lucky with the reveal on the attributes. But ScotStar there, again, lower temper, which is why I want my mares to have good temper, if not better, than their grade. But everything else is on par with the S grade, other than stamina. Middle distances, it's not going to matter too much, in all honesty. Start is where it needs to be, and it's speedy. So I will match Zorak up with ScotStar, mainly because of inbreeding concerns. There was a previous horse in Zorak's past that would create an inbred horse with juice. ScotStar has only one, what they call PFP 1 of 1, which is the special PFP horses that can be astronaut, they can be scuba. You'll hear all these names getting mentioned, Ticket, these guys. It has a Ziggy, the horse that looks like David Bowie essentially in the PFP. That's all it has, so it's much more compatible with other horses around, and that's why ScotStar is in the stable as well. Finally, I have Gil El Ruby. If I don't sell this one, ScotStar is the most probable link, because speed and stamina are both very, very good on Gil, above grade. There is a chance I could sneak this into a longer distance runner by giving it that chance. The start isn't as good on Gil, but it's cancelled out by ScotStar. Temper is the big worry with this one. I might give it a go one season and then maybe fire on Gil. If I get an offer for Gil El Ruby, I'll probably sell it on and bring in a different mare to mate with ScotStar instead. So that's an overview of what I'm doing going forward for breeding. I hope that helps, because as you'll see, I picked up one or two mares a little bit too early before I'd really focused on what I wanted to do, that being sprinting and mid-distance left dirt. I'm not too worried about the condition side of things. For people that are coming in at A grade and looking to build up like I am, I would not be too focused on that, to be honest. The big things are to get left or right preference and dirt or turf preference as high as possible. So use the filters on the marketplace that are 2-star and higher. You do not want to go below 2 for any horses that are going to be bred. You want to get as close to 3 for those two aspects as humanly possible. Other than that, experiment, have fun, enjoy it. You'll get some lucky breaks, some unlucky breaks. It is a random dice roll as to what grades these horses will come out with. What you need to do is have a strategy and have a focus to give yourself the best possible chance of success. That's what I'm doing. The long-term aim is to get into major races. For myself, left dirt, it's the Kentucky Derby series. I have just had a horse in it in my first full season, albeit it was the worst horse in the race. It still qualified and it did not finish last. So we build on that now. If you are properly focused on getting into the main races, I should also say you'll be focused on 5 furlongs, 8 furlongs and 10 furlongs. Those are the distances of the sprints, the gallops and the main events. So you're looking to build your horses and your stable around those distances as well. So other than that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've got something out of that. Obviously my preference now, just the way it's happened, is to go on the sprint side, focusing on start and speed. You may want to do the opposite and go on stamina and finish for the longer distance racers. It's totally up to yourself. Photo finish lets you play your way. The last thing I'll leave you with though is everyone I have listened to over the past 3 or 4 weeks that is a big stable owner or has done well in photo finish, everyone says the same thing. Not every horse deserves to be bred. Do not just breed every horse, because you will lose money. You will lose Derby overall. Focus on the horses that deserve to be bred, that fit your strategy, that have a good race record, that have a good past when you look through their bloodline of winning if their parents were good racers, they're more likely to be good racers as well. You'll notice with my two studs, both of their parents were outstanding on the track in terms of their sires on the male side. I picked them deliberately, doing a budget version of Solar Not Stables tactics. Listen to that podcast with JG Webb if you get a chance. I learned a ton from it. And until next time, thank you very much for spending your time with me, and enjoy the season ahead. Adios.